Probably around the age of 10, I had two dreams. One, I call it the two Bs. I wanted to be involved in baseball and I wanted to be in business. I feel because of the things that I've done with so much passion and love, I feel like I've never worked a day in my life.
One of the things that struck me as I did my research is that you had the unusual experience to get to know the investor universally revered, who is, of course, Warren Buffett. Tell us about those experiences, because I thought they were just fascinating.
I've known Warren now over 20 years, been a friend and a mentor. Just to tie in baseball and business, his favorite player in baseball was the legendary Ted Williams. One thing that made Ted Williams, who played for the Boston Red Sox, so unique, he was uber disciplined at the plate. And Warren Buffett talks about investing by not stretching the strike zone, staying in your circle of competence. And when you get a pitch, make sure it's a fat pitch and make sure you go for a home run, not just a single.
Got it. And that's why he says you don't have to swing at every pitch. The one story I heard that you told, which was in relation to a contract that you were going to sign and you wanted more money and the other side wanted less, and you called Warren.
Yeah, so when I opted out of my contract in 2007, going into the 2008 season, the Yankees and I were stuck at a standstill in our negotiations. And we were about $30 million apart. I had one call, just like the game show, and I called Warren, of course. I picked up the phone, I said, Warren, we're negotiating with the Yankees. They're being very generous, but we're about $30 million apart on a 10-year deal, which feels like we're very, very close. What do you think? Then he went silent for about a minute. And I said, Warren, are you there? He goes, yeah, I'm thinking. And he basically came back and said, you can set up this incentive package that if you hit home runs that are record breaking, each one of them should have a $6 million bonus attached to it. And there's 5 of them and there's your 30. And I said, holy smokes, that's brilliant. And about a week later, we were having a press conference and the unsung hero of that negotiation was Warren Buffett.
Fantastic. But I think I'm right in saying you did execute on the deal.
Yes, 100%. The Yankees loved it. They thought it was a great deal and it was a win-win. And it was an example of Warren thinking outside the box and bridging what could have been a high-stress situation for both sides.
Let's talk about A-Rod Corp. You're chairman and CEO of it. It's an investment holdings company, and you started it way back in 1995. Just tell me a little bit about why you formalized the company and how it's shifted over the years.
Yeah, it started organically, and it started out of fear. You know, I saw the way my mother grew up, and my father left when I was a 10-year-old boy, and it left my mom and my 2 siblings, the 4 of us at home in a neighborhood called Westchester here in Miami. I always wanted to take care of my mother, and I wanted to be involved in business and be an entrepreneur and go to business school and all of this. But I was obviously occupied with baseball. So the one thing I went back to is my circle of competence. Because we were lifelong renters, I understood that as a child, we had to move every 18 months because the landlord kept raising the rents. And I remember as a young boy praying, saying, boy, if I can ever switch places with the landlord, I will certainly do that. And about a dozen years later, I had my first opportunity to buy a small duplex when I was still playing with the Seattle Mariners. I bought that duplex, and then I bought 4 units and then 8 units. And that grew to over 10,000 apartments in about 14 different states. That was the start of it. But the point of it is you start small and you start with something that you really understand.
So we all know the power of real estate, and some people never leave a successful silo when they have established their sort of footprint in there, but you start to go wider. Let's talk about what happens next, both in terms of the motivation and the execution.
Well, what we started understanding was that if you have a competitive advantage and a great team and you have a vision, opportunities will come your way. And A-Rod Corp essentially is a holding company, miniature Berkshire Hathaway, and it has a collection of companies in there that we own stakes in. We do 2 things. We do real estate and we do venture private equity investing. Within the real estate, there's an entire ecosystem and fully integrated, from construction company to over 9,000 single family homes to about 8,500 multifamily apartments to hotels. And on the venture side, We own parts of 30 companies. We've taken a handful of them public. Essentially, that's what we do. And I think in moments like we have today, which the capital markets have dried up some, interest rates have gone up, things are very fluid. The voice from me to our team is let's really focus on the two things we do best. That's sports and that's real estate.